Here is the comparison review on the most popular SUVs on the market. These two compact SUVs have endured over time, and this includes the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V. Customers in this market segment love the value and functionality that both SUVs provide. In this video, I'll be going over what trims are available with each SUV, which vehicle has the better safety features, the exterior looks, the interior quality, the infotainment system, the performance, which will include also the towing and fuel economy, the reliability, and the pricing. If you guys are new here, my name is Jason and I do reviews on vehicles here in Canada, so be sure to like and subscribe for more videos just like this one. Also, thank you to both OpenRoad Honda and Toyota for letting me review these two SUVs. If you guys are interested in either of these, then be sure to reach out to them. And I've done an individual full in-depth review on each of these vehicles, so be sure to check that out as well. Let's start things off with the different trims you get with these SUVs. So with the Toyota RAV4, you can either get a hybrid version or a plug-in hybrid. And this would be the Toyota RAV4 Prime. But let's say you just stick with the RAV4, then you have 13 different models and packages to pick from. You can get both the gas or hybrid versions, and all of these are all-wheel drive. Now for the Toyota CR-V, you can get either gas or hybrid models, but there's no plug-in hybrid model available at the moment. However, the CR-V is only available in 6 different models, so not a whole lot of options compared to the RAV4. And with the CR-V, you can get a 2-wheel drive model, gas, and hybrid models. So if you're looking for an SUV with a wide variety of models to pick from, then the RAV4 is a great option for that. But it can be overwhelming for some since there's a bunch of available options. Now let's move on to the safety features between the two SUVs. I won't cover what safety features each and every model has, but instead I'll go over what each of these SUVs has to offer as standard. And depending on the model that you pick, you might get a few extra options that are not standard on all of the models. So starting with the Toyota RAV4, all models get the Toyota Safety Sense 2.5. This gives you things like right-left turn oncoming pedestrian detection braking, lane tracing assist, left turn oncoming vehicle detection and braking, pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, cyclist detection, and nighttime pedestrian detection, full speed range dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steering assist, and the blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert. And with the Honda CR-V, all models get the collision mitigation warning, forward collision warning, lane departure warning, road departure mitigation, adaptive cruise control with low speed follow, lane keeping assist, traffic jam assist, and the traffic sign recognition. And starting with the sport model, you do get a few more safety features. Now let's go over the exterior on both of these vehicles, and this will all come down to your own personal preference and what you think looks good. By all means, both vehicles are great looking and definitely look sharp, and as you move up in the models available, some will look better than others, which of course comes with a price tag. But I think the RAV4 has much more sharper lines compared to the CR-V, which just gives it a bit more of an aggressive look to it. There's not a whole lot to talk about on the exterior as it's pretty self-explanatory and it just depends on what you like. Now, let's cover the interior and see the differences between the two. And just like the exterior, this will also vary depending on the model that you pick. Both vehicles have a nice interior, but I do think the CR-V has a slight edge on the RAV4. Personally, I like how everything is designed with the CR-V cabin, like the cluster area, which does look slightly better, and even things like the seats, center console, the temperature control area, and even the venting design. All of this just ties together nicely in the CR-V, and this doesn't mean that the RAV4 is ugly inside. It's also got a nice clean interior, but I think the CR-V has a slight edge to it. Now, for the infotainment system on both of these vehicles, both of them have a software that is very easy to use and navigate. Probably more so on the RAV4, but if we're talking about looks and usability wise, I would have to give this to the CR-V. It just has more things on here compared to the RAV4. However, I do like the sleek designing of the CR-V touchscreen as it's more well integrated into the design of the dashboard. But both touchscreens are pretty clear and responsive when going through different menus. Now this is where the RAV4 has a slight edge over the CR-V. With the RAV4, even the base model, you get an 8-inch touchscreen compared to the 7-inch with the CR-V. And another thing to note that with the RAV4, even on the base model, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Whereas with the CR-V, the wireless starts from the EXL model. For the cargo area, both vehicles offer a good amount of room in the trunk, but the CR-V does have a little bit more room, but not by a lot. So taking either vehicle for long family road trips won't be an issue. Even the legroom in the second row is pretty identical between the two vehicles. Okay, now let's talk about the performance that these two SUVs offer. With the RAV4 gas model, you get the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, which gives you 203 horsepower and 184 pound-foot of torque. Fuel economy with this engine is about 8.7 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. And you can tow about 1,500 pounds with this. If you go with the RAV4 hybrid, it's the same engine, but instead you get 219 horsepower and 163 pound-foot of torque. Fuel economy with this engine is about 5.8 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 6.3 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. And with the hybrid, you can tow about 1,700 pounds. Taking a look at the CR-V, with the gas model, you get the 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, which will give you 190 horsepower and 179 pound-foot of torque. Fuel economy wise, you get about 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 7.1 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. This is going to be for the front wheel drive, but if you opt out for the all-wheel drive, then it's 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 7.6 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. And towing wise, it's pretty identical to the RAV4. And if you go with the CR-V hybrid, then you get a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine plus 2 electric motors. This will give you a combined 204 horsepower and 247 pound-foot of torque. Fuel economy wise, you get about 6 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and 6.9 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. In terms of which SUV is more reliable, well, this is Honda and Toyota that we're talking about. I think you can't go wrong with either one of these options. However, according to Consumer Reports, the RAV4 hybrid gets a reliability score of 66 out of 100, and the gas version is scored at 80 out of 100. And as for the CR-V hybrid, this gets a reliability score of 54 out of 100, whereas the gas version is scored at 78 out of 100. So according to Consumer Reports, the RAV4 would be a better buy. Finally, for the pricing of these two SUVs, because the RAV4 has so many more models available, there's a wide price range that will definitely fit within your budget. So the base model RAV4 starts from about $36,200 Canadian for the gas model, and the hybrid from about $39,000 Canadian. And the top gas trim starts from about $47,800 Canadian, with the hybrid model starting from about $50,000 Canadian. For the CR-V, since it doesn't have as many available models like the RAV4, the price point is slightly higher. So for the base gas model, which will be a 2-wheel drive, starts from about $37,200 Canadian. But if you opt for the all-wheel drive gas model, then it's about $40,000 Canadian. Now, for the top gas trim, it starts from about $46,400 Canadian. And if you move into the hybrid models, these will start from about $48,000 Canadian, whereas the top trim is about $52,000 Canadian. Well, that does it for the comparison between the Honda CR-V and the Toyota RAV4. Let me know which one you would go with, or would you just pick something completely different?